to get the job done. So remember, the 3 steps of mastering a script is step number one, you have to memorize it. You have to, right? It's a requirement of the business. It's not me demanding it. I'm not telling you this is something that you need to do because I say so. It's something that the business requires. If I'm working on, let's say I'm a surgeon, right? I can't perform surgery without my tools, without the nurses in my corner helping me out with the procedure. There's a lot of intricate pieces of what we do, and these objection handling skills are going to be necessary. So first thing you need to do is you need to memorize it. How do you do that, Bruce? Well, number one, do you have a role play session that you're scheduling with yourself where you're getting the role play done on your own? Okay, now here's a couple of things you can do. You can record yourself. That's one thing that I did. The first step that I did is I wanted to get great at this, so I recorded them while I was reading them out of the book. And I had them in my voice memos. And I would label them particular titles so I remembered which ones I wanted to study. Okay. So the first thing I did is I recorded them in my phone. So when I drove, I did the dishes, I did laundry, I was working in the yard, whatever I was doing, I had those in my ear to make sure that I was listening. Okay. So that I can memorize them. And then you want to have those 15-minute sessions to really practice that delivery, get that memorization down, because that's going to lead us into stage number two. Stage number two is the punctuation. As you guys can see here, these are sentences that have commas and periods in them. And there's a question mark as well. These punctuation points allow you to know where to start to change your tone, where you can add a particular pause that will allow for your delivery to be much more impactful. All right. So stage number two isn't too hard to master. First stage is pretty it's simple to do. It's just challenging for those that need the discipline. So make sure you get that 15 minutes each and every day and make sure we're getting into that phase two. Now, why am I going over this with you? Because there's people in the room possibly that are thinking like, you know what? I don't want to sound like a robot when I say these things. That's why I don't do the scripts. I'll tell you what, most people sound like a robot because they're only in phase one of the script mastery. Phase one, stage one. They just have it memorized. They've never really gone in and intentionally sharpened up the way they look at the script in the way that it's put together. Okay, so if that's you in the room, make sure you're putting in the work to get to phases 2 and 3. Now, stage number 3 is my favorite because I'm going to cover key topics with you before I go into some of refreshers on these key objections. But step number 3 is the most magical place to be. Stage number 3 is the most magical place to be. Why? Because it's tonality. It's tonality. Tonality is where a lot of the emotions that the person that you're talking to starts to really feel what you're saying. Here's why I do this. The more senses that I can have my prospect use, the better they get at really hearing me out. Here's what I mean by that. Do they hear what you're saying, first and foremost? Is your tone pretty low like this and getting, or are you speaking loud enough for them to hear you guys? This is important. I know, guys, it's wordsmithing is what I call it. It's wordsmithing. It's a skill set that will take you far. Okay. So, and we talked about, can they hear you, right? Number 2, can they see what you're saying? Meaning, are you using body language or are you pretty stiff when you're really talking, right? Body language is another way for them to really get a feel for what it is that you're saying. Now, the last one is, can they feel what you're saying? Are you saying it with conviction? Are you saying it with conviction? Let me give you an example. When you hear your favorite song, okay, or a song that you play while you're at the lake, when you're driving down a dirt road, while you're spending time by yourself and you listen to that song, you feel a certain way. Isn't that true? Why? Because of the way that it's delivered. If you just look at the words of the song on the lyric on the page, it just looks like a song, right? But when you really see the artist and how he or she delivers it, that's what generates the emotion. I wanted to give you guys that analogy so you understand just how important it is to understand and utilize what it is I'm talking with you about. I'm not talking at you, I'm talking with you. So here's the goal. The goal should be to get to stage 3 as quickly as possible. How do you do that? Start with stage 1, mastering that 15 minutes a day. But when you wake up during lunch, you can do it during lunch or at the end of the day before you go to bed. Okay. That's how you start to then take steps towards developing this. Okay. Now, here's the 4 tonalities that you want to master. Okay. I want you to write this down. Number 1 is curiosity. Okay. Number one, curiosity, because curiosity is what opens your prospect up. This is what's going to help them feel heard, right? This is why when we say during the pre-objections, right, is John, if they say they had, they've tried this before and it didn't necessarily work for them, what do we say when we, oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Sounds like you had a bad experience. What happened? Right? That allows them to open up, which of course builds trust. The next one is confidence, okay? Confidence is one of the most critical ones, and here's what it does is people follow certainty. People follow certainty. If you went to the doctor and they were like, hey, we got to do a procedure, and I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we can definitely try. Are you open to that? We're going to have to cut you open and see what we can do, right? You're going to be like, whoa, hold on a second. But if they come to you and say, hey, look, listen, there's a procedure that has an 80% success rate. We're going to definitely see it. It shouldn't take any longer than 4 hours. The nurses will then take care of you after the procedure to make sure you're back on recovery. What is the difference there, right? Same doctor, different delivery, okay? It just came across with confidence. The other one I want to talk to you about is empathy. Empathy is a big one, and here's why. We're dealing with people. And just like we mentioned before, I call this EQ. Well, I don't call it this. I've learned of this. It's called EQ, emotional intelligence, right? These tonalities that I'm talking to you about allows you to elevate yourself from just dealing with intelligence and really leaning with the emotional side of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Now, for those of you wondering, why am I going over this when we're talking about common objections after the closing or after asking for the close? Guys, look, because these are the key ingredients. You could say whatever's on this script, but if these key ingredients aren't added to what it is that you're putting together, it's not going to taste the way that you want it to taste. Okay. And then the last one is authority. Okay. Authority, exercise your authority. You are a licensed agent through the state of Georgia, in the state of Florida. You've went through the hours of study. You've gone through the state exam. Some of you took it a couple of times. I've taken it 3 times, passed it on my 4th try. So I use that as a way for me to know that I'm in this role for a reason, right? I'm in this role for a reason. You're in this role for a reason. And so we've got a way to really continue to add to that level of confidence is to start there, okay? But then now we put in the work, right? What's going to give you more confidence is knowing that you're doing the preparation necessary to get you to that next level. So always remember, because here's the thing, the last thing I want you to write, so real quick, so curiosity is the first one because it opens people up and they feel when they like it when they feel heard. Competence, empathy, and authority. People like to hear expertise. They trust an expert. Okay. That's why we also talked about industry types. When a business owner is hearing you say that the way that this has worked in the past based on businesses like yours, okay, that tells them that I'm an expert in working with businesses like them to help facilitate and set up a proper enrollment structure. Okay. Now, here's why this is important. Write this down. Your words provide information. So what I say provides information. Your tonality is going to create belief. Your words provide information, but your tonality is what creates belief. Think about that for a moment. What we do is a transference of emotion. It's a transference of belief. And the way that you do that is by understanding the tonality types, but what do you need to do before you get to that part? Most of you, like I said, some of you, as a matter of fact, are really on that stage 1. You've got to memorize, but you're wondering, okay, when I say them, why aren't they getting the results that I need? Well, then we look at, do I know the punctuation? And am I really experimenting and getting a better understanding of what my tonality sounds like? This is where it brings me back to the recording. The recording gives you a better understanding of what you sound like, what you look like, okay? This doesn't just pertain on getting your presentation to be strong. This pertains on how you overcome objections in before and after the presentation to get your close that you're looking for, all right? So that was pretty much the simplistic way to look at it. First, look at it in the first 3 stages of mastering your script. Are you in stage 1, which is just memorization? Are you in stage 2, where you've got the punctuation down? You know where the commas are. You know where to really get into that tonality shift, okay? And then number 3, do you know the different tonalities that you can utilize during key objections or, rebuttals, right? Some of these rebuttals require you to have empathy. or curiosity. And then there's others that require authority, especially this first one, right? I can't take my people out of production for the time that it takes to meet with you. Now, John, in considering something like this, you always want to ask yourself two big questions. First of all, if you as an employer had one of your employees have an illness, accident, or maybe even a death in their family, chances are they'd probably come to you for help. Isn't that right? That's authority. Think about that, right? It's not really curious. I'm really driving home the authority of letting them know, look, this is the bottom line. This is the reality that you may face as an employer. I've met business owners that have paid for funeral costs because in their heart, number one, they didn't have benefits. That's the biggest thing. They didn't have benefits that were set up accordingly so that the employee didn't have to deal with that challenge. But they can avoid that because, again, it's just one of those things. By having something that would provide them with solutions for just a few dollars a week today would have them prevent a major problem like that tomorrow. Okay. So that's going to bring us into what we're talking. So stage number one, remember the 3 stages. Where are you at? Start there. From there, make sure you have a sound training or role play structure or system in place as a business owner. You are a business owner, so have a system in place to make sure that your scripts are staying strong. Are you role playing 15 minutes a day? Do you have the recording ready? Are you in that position right now? If not, you know where to start. Once you get that, I would make sure that you're also having others give you some feedback. That's the other piece. I would get somebody in leadership involved. Hey, real quick, I'm going to run through some of these. Would you mind role playing with me and giving me some insight on how what do you think about this? Here's something I've been working on lately is my tonality. I want to sound more curious. I want to sound more confident when I say this rebuttal. Can you tell me if I sound like that or not? I feel like I do. But what are your thoughts, Mr. SAGA or AD? Shoot, even AO, right? That is the kind of preparation and intentionality that we're looking for. That is the culture. That is the goal. That is what we want to make sure that you guys understand on what it's going to take to be successful. So the first objection you're going to deal with is, I don't have the time. We're really busy right now, right? If you're hearing, right, I can't take my employees out of production for the time that it makes with you, it's not always going to sound like that. You're going to hear, it's a busy season right now. It's a busy season. We're handling projects. We're doing this. This is the objection I would utilize for that. It's not worded out of like, I can't take my guys out of the field. It's, we're in the busy season right now. This is one you could use. The next one is, my employees can't afford it, or they won't even buy coverage because they live paycheck to paycheck, right? This is where the empathy starts to come into play, the expertise, right? The tonality. Now, John, I'm really glad you mentioned that, because right now, with the point you just made, chances are if your employees are living paycheck to paycheck now and something did happen to them down the road, like an accident, illness, or even a death, chances are they would come to you for help. Isn't that true? Well, I'll tell you what, John, for those employees that are living paycheck to paycheck, my clients currently have, said that it's better for them to have options in place now that would help them for just a few dollars a week today than have them as an employer deal with a major challenge like that tomorrow. Do you see what I mean? So I know the script is saying, hey, this is for the employee, but it's also in perspective helping the employer not have to be in that scenario where they're having to dish out $10,000 to $15,000. They don't have to, but be in that conversation. Like, hey, because if an employee does come to me and says, hey, I'll help what I can, but Jenny, aren't you aware of the benefits that we currently have available here at work? And I noticed you haven't taken advantage of any. Is there a reason for that? So that's a big one right there. Then the one we've got here is wanting to pull the employees, right? This one's one that you want to make sure you're always aware of. Here's what I want you guys to do before we go into the next segment here, which is going to be the role play. We're going to pair up, and here's what I want you to do first. I want you to make a star by 2 to maybe even 3, because there's 5 in total. There's 5 compared to the 8 that we have before the presentation. There's 5. These are a little bit larger than the others, but there's only 5. I want you to make a star by the ones that you're challenged by currently. So take 2 minutes, look at the scripts for just a moment, and make a star or 2 by the ones that you currently have challenged. And then give me a thumbs up when you're done. I want you to have the awareness. Which ones have you been hearing a lot and you just can't seem to overcome? And I want you to star those. Take 2 minutes. And give me a thumbs up when you're done. Which ones are the ones that if you said, you know what, Bruce, if I can just get these two down, if I can get these two down, I will be a rock star. Boom, make a star right now. Come on. I'm looking for some thumbs. Looking for some thumbs. Not ready. Sarah's ready. Let's go. Come on. What do we got? Kiara's ready. Let's go. Vincent, you ready, baby? Come on. Give me a thumbs up if you've got those marked. There he is. All right. Vincent, you okay? You're ready. You raised your hand. What about Orlando? Jay, what's up, man? You ready? You get those stars right there? Javion, you still looking at your rebuttals? The 5 common closing objections. Make the stars by the ones that you feel like you're not so strong in, guys. This is going to be an important part of the process because in this next role play session, we're going to have you guys role play these so that you guys can get some work into these. So, got some thumbs up in Orlando. Good. What about Jacksonville? Give me some thumbs up if you've got your ones that you really want to work on today. Okay, very good. What about Q? Jerry, y'all got yours down? All right. Got thumbs up. Harry, Matthew Snow. I love it. Man, good for you guys. I love it. Big step in the right direction. Okay. Now that you guys have, here's what we have done. This is a big step in the right direction because, again, many of you, some of you, I don't want to say many, I don't want to assume, but I know some of you maybe have been overlooking the preparation and the development of this particular skill. Okay. So knowing now what you need to work on is going to be a big step in making sure we start working on these. Okay. So the next one is we want to pull my employees and we already have benefits in place. And then let me think about it. This one's one that we get pretty often. So now that you have your stars by the ones you want to focus on, what we're going to take is the next 12. You know what, Brian, I know we're going to go a little overtime. I know I went a little overtime, but do you approve on the
Good stuff.
I'm good for it. I want to make sure that you're on board with it as well.
100%.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take 15 minutes. So at 3:05, we're going to finish up our exercise. But guys, look, be intentional. Okay, this is not just a hey, we're going to be doing this just to go through the motions. I want you to emphasize, really exaggerate the delivery because I mentioned earlier, you want to feel what you're saying. Okay, you want to feel what you're saying. So let's go ahead and pair up. You can do the groups of 2 or 3, and I'd like for us to go back and forth and see the repetitions happen. So let's rock and roll. The timer is started. Let's be intentional and see what we got. Let's rock and roll, baby. Clock is started.
We could do it. We could do it from right there, where you are. I got my script.
All right, guys, real quick. When we get back on the call at 3:05, I want to know how many repetitions we were able to get, right? So make sure you're counting your repetitions. I want to hear some of the amount of maybe 15 minutes isn't long enough. We may want to, I'll make sure to see if we can get 20 minutes. So count your repetitions. I'll be going around the room a couple of times and seeing how many repetitions we were able to get in the 15 minutes allotted. Let's rock and roll. Count your reps. Nice little jams for you guys, getting you pumped up. Let's go. Hey guys, it helps if you stand up, by the way. So if you want to stand up, you want to get a little bit more body language in there, feel free to do so. It definitely does help. I do see Jacksonville standing up. Leanne shaking it off. I like it. Come on.
I just read that as like, hey, if this employee dies, wouldn't they come to you for help?
Yeah. Folks are gonna meet this.
All right, let's go, baby. Come on. Finish up your last rep. Finish up your last rep. Man, oh man, do I love what I hear. Guys, look, this is what I'm talking about. This is where you're in the forge, putting on hands-on work to getting better. We don't want to continue. Here's the thing. You don't want to use money-making opportunity as your only practice. It's the truth. If you're going out to the field without any kind of preparation and refining of what your skill is, then we're going to have to make some adjustments, guys, because here's the deal. Every one of you has a reason to be here. And that why should be the thing that gets you up and focused on the things that we're providing here today. So I want to hear real quick, go ahead and unmute some of you. I want to hear how many reps you were able to get in this 15-minute window total, guys. I know some of you were going through all 5, one at a time. Some of you were focused on the ones that you starred, but how many reps were we able to get in that? So let's start with you, Sarah. How many reps did you get in this 15 minutes of time that we gave role play?
We went through 5 for each of us. Yeah, about 5.
So 5 per question or 5 total times?
5 total times that we were able to run through it.
Great job. Let's go.
Mhm.
And that's in 15 minutes, right? Think about that. You keep that going for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 days. Where will your skill set be? So excited. Thank you so much. What about for you? Go ahead, Brian.
5 times. Is that right, Sarah? So y'all got 15 reps between you, Vincent, and whoever else, Kira, or whoever else y'all have up there in the office. So 15 total reps, but each of you did it 5 times going through it.
Yes. So again, team, it's possible. 3 people. Imagine if you did it on your own, right? You were in front of a mirror or you were in front of your dog, however you want to role play. But that's important. Great job. Thank you. Vincent, what about for you, my man? Did you get the same amount? You're in that same group with Sarah?
Yes, Sarah, she did a little bit better than me. I think I did 4.
That wasn't the question. Woo! Hey, let's go. That's why we do this, right? Sometimes when we're paired up with some people, we can hear how they sound. We can hear how they deliver it. It's not to say, hey, you're better than me or I'm better than you. It's we get together, we hear how each one of us delivers it, and it just allows us to stay sharp in the way that we go. I mean, it could even inspire you. I mean, there were times when I would role play and I would hear some others that would deliver the script. I was like, man, that sounded amazing. I got to get to work on this. I don't want to be the one left behind on how I sound. So I started really adding more fuel to the fire based on what I was hearing. So Sarah, great job on really gleaning onto Vincent on how you've been delivered. So love that. What about Orlando? How many reps we get? Javion, you're the first one I see on the camera. Way to sit up front. How many repetitions did you get? You got to unmute the mic. Rolling. Look at that. Smiling big.
Got 17 reps.
Whoa! Come on, baby. Let's go. I love it. Now we keep it going. What about for you, Harry? Give us some good news. How many reps you get, girl? I can't see that. That's a what? 11! Double digits in the house. Is that 11 or 17?
11.
Oh, 11. Oh, I love it. Jacksonville, how many reps did we get over there? Give us some good news. Let's go, LA. Leanne, for those of you that don't know, this is Leanne, supervising agent for the Jacksonville office. Look at that face. Come on.
Sorry, you're trying to unmute. You said 23?
Yeah.
23.
Oh! Whoa! Come on, baby. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. Reps on reps on reps. Great work, guys. That sums it up for today. I hope you feel the conviction that I have behind this. And I want to transfer that to you and saying that this can be the difference maker between you making $50,000 a year to working your way to 100,000 plus. And it's because you're ready for every moment. You're not using money-making opportunities practice. You're doing the work behind the scenes, behind closed doors. And that's how you're going to get praised in public for what you do. So with all that being said, guys, I had a great training with you all. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Finish up your Mondays. Be prepped and ready to have an amazing week. Y'all have a wonderful one. And we're out.